In a world filled with giants, some of nature's greatest transformations begin almost invisibly.
To us, a butterfly may seem delicate and effortless. But behind every pair of beautiful wings lies a remarkable story. A story of survival, transformation, and rebirth.
Because before a butterfly can conquer the sky, its journey begins somewhere much smaller.
Before creating the next generation, a female butterfly must find the right place to begin.
Not every plant can support the fragile life that comes next. The mother must choose carefully.
Using instinct and chemical signals, she examines the plant.
She searches among countless leaves, looking for the safest place for her offspring. Then, at last, she finds a suitable location. A place where a new life may have a chance to survive. Here, the next generation begins. To the human eye, it is almost insignificant. But each tiny egg carries the possibility of an entire new life. Each one represents the beginning of another generation. Smaller than a grain of sand, the egg appears completely still. But beneath its protective shell, something extraordinary is happening. Cell by cell, a new body is forming. The future caterpillar is slowly taking shape. Outside, the world continues to change. Rain falls. Morning returns. Cell by cell, a new body is forming. Now, the creature inside is almost ready. Then, something changes. A tiny movement breaks the silence. The new life begins to push its way into the world. For the first time, the caterpillar enters the outside world. And almost immediately, its next great challenge begins. It must eat. With its first bite, the caterpillar begins the most important activity of its early life. For this tiny creature, an entire world of food surrounds it. But survival requires more than simply finding food. It requires consuming enough to grow. Specialized mouthparts allow it to cut through leaves with surprising efficiency. One bite becomes hundreds. One leaf becomes many. Every mouthful is transformed into energy. Inside its body, nutrients are being converted into the building blocks of growth. Although it moves slowly, Every step carries it toward a completely different future. To the caterpillar, the leaf is more than food. It is home. But even a growing caterpillar must pause. Because danger can come from above. Remaining unnoticed may be just as important as finding food. When the danger passes, the search for food begins again. Hours become days. And the tiny creature that emerged from the egg is beginning to change. But growth comes with a problem. The caterpillar's soft outer skin cannot expand forever. So, once again, nature prepares it for change. For a while, the caterpillar does almost nothing. But beneath the old skin, a new layer is already waiting. Then, the old skin begins to split. Slowly, the caterpillar pulls itself free. Now, it is larger. For a short time, it rests. Then, the hunger returns. Eat, grow, shed, repeat. With every stage, the caterpillar moves closer to the transformation waiting ahead. At this stage of life, the caterpillar has one overwhelming purpose:
to gather enough energy for a transformation, unlike anything it has experienced before.
But the journey is only beginning. More growth is coming, and with it, more dangers. Hidden among the leaves, the caterpillar continues its dangerous journey. Everywhere around it, predators are searching for their next meal. Some predators wait patiently. Others hunt among the same leaves where the caterpillar feeds. From above, danger can appear in an instant. So the caterpillar freezes. Observe how the masterful caterpillar seamlessly integrates with its environment, its natural patterns mirroring the leaf's veins with astonishing precision. For a few seconds, survival depends on remaining invisible. Then, cautiously, life resumes. Camouflage is not the only defense. Sometimes, the safest response is simply to disappear.
Once again, the caterpillar survives.
And once again, it returns to the task that drives its life. Eat. The master caterpillar continues its rapid growth,
its body expanding to fill the frame. Detailed skin
survive. And eventually, another transformation begins. Once again, the old skin can no longer contain the growing body. Slowly, it emerges. Another stage of growth is complete. The once tiny larva is becoming a mature caterpillar. Every segment of its body has been shaped by weeks of growth. Every detail serves a purpose. These powerful jaws continue to transform leaves into fuel. Wave by wave, its body carries it forward. But now, the end of its feeding stage is approaching. These may be among its final meals. Then, something changes. It is no longer searching for food.
Now, it is searching for something far more important, a place where the greatest transformation of its life can begin.
After weeks of eating, the caterpillar takes what may be one of its final bites. But now, its hunger is beginning to fade. Something deep within its body has changed. The caterpillar has entered its wandering stage. It must now find a place where the next stage of its life can unfold in safety. The familiar world of feeding is behind it. Here, beneath a protective canopy, it may have found the right place. Once again, instinct guides its decisions. It searches for a surface strong enough to support what comes next. Then, it stops. The final preparation begins. Using silk, it anchors itself securely.
Now, its body begins to take a completely different position.
The familiar caterpillar now hangs in a distinctive shape. Once again, stillness becomes part of survival. But this time, the change ahead will be unlike every molt before it. The final molt is about to begin. Slowly, the old skin begins to separate. But this time, the creature emerging is no longer a caterpillar. The caterpillar has entered the next stage of its extraordinary life.
From the outside, it looks completely different from the creature that created it.
Beside it lies the final reminder of the life that came before. Now, everything appears silent. But inside, one of nature's greatest transformations is about to unfold. The body that once carried a crawling caterpillar begins to reorganize. New structures begin to form. Where there were once no wings, the structures of flight begin to develop. Outside, the world continues as if nothing has changed. Days pass. And inside this silent chamber, a completely new creature is taking shape. Inside the chrysalis, the caterpillar's old world is disappearing, and a completely different body is beginning to take shape. The structures that once built a crawling caterpillar are being reorganized. Inside, the architecture of the adult butterfly begins to emerge. New legs develop, designed for a life spent walking across flowers and leaves. Antennae begin to form, preparing the future butterfly to sense the world around it. Eyes develop, ready to perceive movement, light, and color. Slowly, the creature inside becomes recognizable. And then, the most remarkable structures of all begin to form. The wings begin as delicate structures, gradually developing their complex network of veins. The creature that once crawled across leaves is becoming something entirely new. Eyes develop, ready to perceive movement, light, and color. Patterns begin to reveal the identity of the butterfly that is waiting inside. The wings continue to develop. At last, the adult form is almost complete. Outside, the transformation remains hidden. Time continues to pass. But now, the chrysalis is beginning to change. The colors and patterns of the butterfly begin to appear. The wings begin as delicate structures, gradually developing their complex network of veins. And with the morning light comes a new beginning. Inside, the butterfly is ready. Then, the first movement begins. The protective shell begins to open. Slowly, the butterfly begins to emerge. After weeks of transformation, the creature finally enters the outside world. But it is not ready to fly. Now comes one final moment of patience. The wings that will carry it into the sky
are beginning to unfold.
Slowly, the wings begin to unfold.
Fluid moves through the delicate network of veins, expanding the wings to their full shape.
With every moment, the hidden pattern becomes clearer. At last, the wings reach their full size. But size alone is not enough. The delicate wings must dry and harden before they can carry their new owner.
Then, for the first time, the butterfly tests its wings. It moves its legs, adjusts its balance, and prepares for what comes next. Every movement strengthens the muscles that will soon power its flight. Now, the butterfly is ready. And then it flies. The creature that began life as a tiny egg is finally free to move through the world. Its first flight is brief, uncertain, and completely extraordinary. Then it finds a place to rest. And soon, another instinct awakens. Uncoiling its long proboscis, the butterfly reaches for liquid nourishment. Now, the flowers that once seemed distant become a source of energy. The caterpillar was built to consume leaves. The adult butterfly lives on a very different diet. And as it feeds, it may carry pollen from one flower to another. The world has changed completely. Now, sunlight is no longer simply part of its environment. It becomes a source of warmth and energy. With every flight, the adult butterfly explores more of its world. But the adult stage has another purpose. Now begins the search for a mate. In the air, flight becomes part of a delicate courtship. And soon, the cycle begins to turn once again. The female searches for the right plant, the one that will give her future offspring their first meal. From a tiny egg to a hungry caterpillar to a chrysalis and finally to a butterfly, the journey has come full circle. From a tiny egg hidden beneath a leaf, an extraordinary journey begins. It grows by eating, shedding its skin, and preparing for a transformation hidden from the world. Then, in a silent chamber, the caterpillar disappears, and something entirely new begins to emerge. From that hidden transformation comes one of nature's most recognizable symbols of change. Now, its short adult life becomes a dance between sunlight, flowers, and flight. But the butterfly is more than a beautiful creature. It is part of a larger web of life. By choosing a host plant and laying new eggs, one generation carries life forward.
And so, the story returns to where it began.
One tiny egg becomes a butterfly, and one butterfly begins the journey again.
Now, its short adult life becomes a dance between sunlight, flowers, and flight.